Hello, my light beings. Thank you for joining me again. I know last week I talked a little bit about losing our parents, but I ran over too long on that video, so I wanted to talk about, because I did leave out when children lose their parents, and I'm not talking like, oh, I'm a child and my parent passed on. I'm talking about I'm 5 years old. I'm like not quite in that range that I understand what's happening. Even with that said, I don't know why my camera got dark for some reason. Maybe it's just my eyes. I'm having a stroke. That's what's happening. You guys get to witness this. This is fun. Anyway, so I didn't mention that, and I've never lost a parent when I was that young. I don't know what it could be like. I can't imagine the confusion and the hurt and the anger and the struggle that a young child would have to go through. And then if they lose both parents, that's when it becomes even harder. I'd imagine if I was that young and something like that happened, I would feel like, oh, well, what happened? I'm confused, and I'd ask questions and I'd want to know the answer to them. And if, you're the other parent that has survived and you don't want to talk about it, you're closed off, and you keep it inside and just hush hush, let's not make a big deal about it. Let's not talk about it. If they don't want to talk about it, it'll be better. That's not good. That would be very, then the child's left alone with their own thoughts with this horrible thing that's happened. I imagine that in that time frame when a child is, under 6, 5, 6, they're not going to understand what it is, but they will remember parts of it. They also have this ability to connect with the spirit realm. And whether you believe it or not, it really is there. They really can do this. And so their parent or whomever could come through and kind of coach them and talk to them. Not necessarily coach them. That's too big of a word, but too broad of a term. But be there for them and let them know everything's going to be okay. It doesn't feel like it is, but many children, unfortunately, have lost one of their parents due to accidents, health issues, other terrible tragedies, and they've survived. They've made it through. How they've made it through, how well they've made it through, I don't know. I'm just kind of talking about this in an observer way. I guess I could say that, you've heard children talking to their grandparents and stuff when grandparents have crossed over. So I'd imagine that parents would do that too, especially if they're young children. Then you get to the point of now they've got to grow up without this other parent, and they have to figure out who they are, and they don't know really what's what, and the other parent has to take on 2 roles if they don't have a significant other, which it happens, but oftentimes they'll get remarried or find another partner, which is okay too. It's all okay. There's no rules in grief, and there's a lot of recommendations, but there's no rules. Everybody's personal. Everybody has their own personal way to get through this horrid time. But with that said, you, as the parent who has survived, and I really hate using that term, oh, that's a very pretty butterfly. Huh. Wow. Anyway, I get distracted easily, sorry. When you are the parent who does survive, don't stifle the need for your child to know what happened, or to ask questions about, and to bring up the memories and things like that. If they remember something, go with it. Be like, hey, it's okay. What do you want to talk about? When you're ready to talk about it, let's talk. Like, don't make them feel that they can't talk, because what's going to happen is they're going to keep it inside. Then they're going to grow up. They're going to have this teenage angst, which we all have, whether we've lost a parent or not. It's horrible going through that. And then they're going to think that it's their fault, and they're going to start blaming themselves because there's no answer. And at that point, they're not going to want to talk about it. So if you're open and you keep that line open for them, even your new significant other, if you have one, or if you're like the aunts and uncles or grandparents that have taken over, allow that to happen. Let them see photo albums. Let them see pictures on the phone. Let them talk about their memories. Tell some of your own memories, funny stories. Memories are amazing when it comes to helping to go through grief, especially good memories. I wouldn't go over bad memories too much, but as a child, or knowing children, I've had 4 of my own, so I do kind of have that insight. They're going to bring up tough things. I mean, let me be frank. I mean, kids just, okay, now's the time to talk about this. And you're like, it's really not. But, you just kind of feel them out and you go with it. If you can, wait until another time. Like if they bring it up in the grocery store, say, hey, maybe we could talk about this at home or in the car on the way home. Sometimes you don't want to air out your dirty laundry in the grocery store. But children don't know that. They don't get that. But anyway, and I think it's more of a society thing. I think it's for the people that are grieving. Especially children, I don't think, wow, oh, there's like mourning doves like flying around too. Oh my god, I'm gonna fill the bird bath. I'm so sorry, I keep getting distracted. So you as a person who's grieving, you're afraid to talk about it. If you're an empath like me, you feel other people and you get, oh, they don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that. I can tell you my entire childhood was like, oh, I'm not going to bring that up because I don't think that's appropriate, or yeah, this isn't the time for that, and then you get distracted and do something else and you don't think about it again until you're like an adult and you're like, oh, I should have asked that question because now I'm never going to get the answer to it. But anyway, I digress. I feel that as society, as a community, or as communities of a bigger society, we need to step in and we need to, be there. Sometimes even with a child, all they need is somebody to sit there and play with them, or just sit there and just be with them just while they're playing, and they're okay. Sometimes they want to talk, and, if they start telling you stories and it may seem far-fetched and like, I don't know who your parent was, but let them talk. Just let them let it off their chest. Obviously, if they need help, if they need therapy or psychiatry or something, get that for them. That's super important. But I think the main goal is that us as a society, we need to stop being afraid of grief and stop being afraid of talking about death, because it happens. It's going to happen. Unfortunately, it happens tragically a lot, and that's very, very sad. And when somebody who's young passes away, you think how horrible, how awful. It's just, they were so young. I think that sometimes we come down here for a very specific purpose, and sometimes a specific purpose is to give birth to someone, and then you're done, and you're not meant to raise them. It's meant for them to be raised by somebody else. For whatever reasons, I don't know, but I do believe that that's a thing. Tell me whichever you feel, that's okay. It's not going to sway my beliefs. I know what I know. I am an empath, so there's a lot of things I know that I can't explain. But it's just one of the things, and I'm just throwing that out there as an example. It's not the only thing. It's not the only reason. There's many, but that's not really part of what this video is about. It's mostly about children and helping them cope, and giving them those coping mechanisms, and giving them that space where they can release that grief. Let them feel it. They need to, even though they're children and you don't want them to cry, let them. It's okay. Give them a little bit of time. Give them that space. And just like adults, they're going to go through the processes. They're going to go through those stages of grief. And they're mostly going to ask why. Like, I don't understand. And you just we don't either. If you don't know, tell them. I really don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why this happens. I don't know why this particular thing happened to us. I just don't know. Because there is no answer. It's in the cards. It's in the heavens. It's whoever decides those things is the one who decided that. And sometimes you just have to accept that. And it's really, 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 really hard, especially when you're somebody with an analytical mind and you need to know the answer. I'm like that. That's why I say that. I need to know. I need to know everything. Just teach me everything I can learn, and it's like my brain can't hold it all. And same kind of thing with children. They're just they're still learning, so you can't overwhelm them with stuff. And they're going to be overwhelmed, and they're going to have issues, and they're going to temper tantrums and whatever, and then they're going to grow older, and they're going to be like, well, if this, then that, and then that's when the bargaining stuff might start. But just as the surviving parent, or as the surviving family members that have taken over the raising of the children, just know that they do need to express themselves. They need to feel these emotions and work through them with them. Don't discount them if they say they saw mom or dad in a dream or whatever. Let them talk about it. And, it may help you get through the grief of the loss too, because sometimes just talking about our lost loved ones gives us a good feeling. Sometimes it doesn't. So if it doesn't, then, I'm not saying everybody needs to do that, but what works for you. But stifling your feelings and pretending that it doesn't exist, and just pretending that the person never existed or that nothing happened, and all that's definitely the wrong way to do it. So work with it and do what works for you guys, and for you as a family or a new family. You're going to have to create new traditions. You're going to have to create new routines, new strategies, new plans, new everything. And that's how you work through it, and just be together, and just know that you're there for each other, and be there for each other. That's really the best advice that I could give right now on that, because I don't know that much about it. I've never been one of those children. But to everybody who watches this, I wish you guys the best. Much love and light to all of you. And if you have any questions, please ask below. Bye, light beings.